The timer's going, so I'm assuming that it's good.
Okay. So here we are back at it.
Season 2.
Season 2? Really?
Season 2. Yeah, let's call it Season 2.
We're Season 2. We're rebooting.
Well, we're not rebooting. It's just Season 2.
Season 2.
We're in a new year.
That true. We are in a new year. Yeah.
And it's not going to be like fucking Guy's Grocery Games. He's on Season 32 somehow. When we grew up, when we had like Pong and shit like that, a season was like a year.
Yeah, 22 episodes. You're like, you got a hell of a lot of episodes out of a season.
Pick it up in September.
Yeah.
Watch through whatever. There's some reruns in there somewhere, and over there by the time the summer runs around, obviously you're out. Mm-hmm. But 22 fucking episodes. Or no, excuse me, 31 seasons they have him listed already. He's only been doing it for like fucking 8 years, maybe 10 years. So they must do a season.
That's not a season.
It's just, I think what they're doing, they say, hey, let's do 15 episodes. That's what it is. They say we're doing 15 episode seasons, whatever it is. So you do 15 episodes.
And
then so you really could be working on the next season in one calendar year.
When you think about it, we really don't need a season. I mean, unless you only need a season if you're going to take a break, which, we didn't really plan to take a break, but it happened. It happened.
No,
it happened.
I think it sounds just a little more.
All right. Well, I'll indulge you. I'll allow it.
Little pomp and circumcision.
So, here we decided to pick up on the show The Last of Us, which is what we're covering during this episode is episodes 1 through 4 of The Last of Us, and I have a joke.
Get ready, bitches. 4 episodes.
I want to start off. I want to start off with a joke, and I mean this in the people don't maybe know this about me, but I'm terrible at telling jokes, so I don't tell a lot of them.
And she didn't use air quotes either.
And I have
when she said she was telling a joke.
I'm really bad at telling jokes, so I have one in the hopper at all times. And
I usually got one in the chamber too.
I got one ready to go, which is okay. Get ready for it.
Okay.
What did the mushroom say to his friends when he got kicked out of the party?
Oh, didn't you just ask me this?
No, I didn't ask you this. I didn't.
Okay, no. If somebody asked me a mushroom riddle,
it's a mushroom joke.
I don't know.
Oh, come on! I'm a fun guy. Boom.
Yeah, right. I don't know which one.
That was the drums. No, get that. We're in season 2. We got to get rid of exterminate.
I know. I still have.
We got to get rid of exterminate.
Oh my
God. Anyway, I once when I worked at Dairy Queen for many years, and there was this young lady who's super beautiful that worked at Dairy Queen, and she was in the Miss, our state pageant, and she was saying she had to go up. The first thing she had to do when she went to this pageant was tell a joke, and she was asking us all for jokes, and I told her the fun guy joke, and she dropped that at the Miss Teen whatever pageant, and nobody laughed. So I might have ruined her life. I don't know.
And now she got offered a job on The Last of Us, only to find out it was for 3 episodes.
Right. Well, so I am impressed with the show. I like it. I wasn't sure I was going to like it because it's basically another zombie show, and I'm kind of getting tired a little bit. What would be the word zombie fatigue? I've got some zombie fatigue, which I think is just the general meaning of being a zombie is fatigue. So
yeah.
So that's really
the definition. Fridays.
Yeah,
Fridays a ton.
I'm zombified. Anyway, I don't know, but it's definitely a different show than The Walking Dead or Romero's Zombies, and it's definitely different.
I've never heard of that one.
George Romero?
As far as I know, I haven't. I mean, is it World War Z?
No, it's not World War Z.
Then I haven't heard of it.
It's I mean, the famous, the person who basically created the zombie shows.
Oh,
Romero.
okay. Did he do like the
like Day of the Dead? And
yeah, but it was before that. It was even Was it the Walking Dead? Night of the Dead? Fuck if I know.
Night of the Living Dead is George Romero.
Was that what it was? Okay.
Well, now if I got that wrong, I'll feel really stupid and someone can call me out for it. But Night of the Living Dead.
Well, the nice thing is nobody will call you right now because we're not live.
No, we're not live.
Night of the Living Dead.
Yeah. Wow. That laptop of yours has got a glow. Holy cow.
It's part tanning bed.
Well, you need maybe better put some shades on.
aren't these turning dark?
Yeah, right. Well, so
well, I'm looking at it right here. I'm trying to.
You are clearly not.
What'd you say his name was?
Zombie Romero. Romero. George Romero. Night of the Living Dead. That'd be really.
George A. Yes.
Yeah. Yeah.
Screenplay by.
I mean,
had $125,000 budget. $30 million at the box office.
Yeah, well, I mean, it's epic. It's the birth of a genre. It's the birth of a genre.
I thought you were going to say it was the birth of a vagina.
No, that's
it's a little gina.
That's Rhaenyra. That's a different show.
Are you the birth of a vagina?
No, gross, gross.
We got too many ginas running around there.
No, it's not. I don't even want to say that word. I don't like that word either.
It was only half of it.
Yeah, don't put the other letters in there. I just don't want to hear it. Gross. Well, so let's get back to it here.
All right,
you're not a Romero fan, so you're not going to...
Oh, no. See, I never said I'm not a fan. Just because I don't know who wrote something doesn't mean I don't like the thing that they wrote.
Well, his zombies are really creepy. I find Romero's zombies creepier than Walking Dead zombies. I really do. I mean, there's something disturbing about them.
Oh, yeah, I remember this. This sucked.
It didn't. Stop.
I'm gonna look at it.
I mean,
yeah, it does.
You have to take it. You have to take it in context of the time that it was built. Fine.
Yikes.
Well, let's just go. Let's.
But actually, I think why. See, I'm not on the computerizer. I think why is because they're kind of the zombies in that one were. They kind of didn't necessarily look dead. They looked more hungover and pissed.
Well, I'm sure you said they had $125,000 budget.
Yeah. So no. I'm just saying.
It's probably
I'm just
one
saying,
episode of the Walking Dead.
So I'm saying they didn't look dead. And like rotty, kind of like in The Walking Dead, and they didn't look like they've got I don't know, a conch shell growing out of their head like in The Last of Us. My point is, you said it freaked the first one. You thought they were creepier because I think maybe because they were more human-like.
Yeah, I think so. And I mean that. Yeah,
they weren't all rotty and.
Well, but
they were really. That's like I said. They looked like they were. Really
I don't
fucking
remember which movie it is, Romero's movie, but they get to an island that they think is safe, and they're on a dock trying to get into this island.
The island of Dr. Moreau.
No, and all of these zombies come running at them, and that's a horrible, creepy scene, and I'll never forget that. They're in a mall. The first movie's in a mall. They're trapped in a mall with zombies, which is kind of neat. But
so.
Well,
I kind of remember. Yeah, whatever. I'm looking at this.
Well, so
more than one part.
I think one of the nice things about The Last of Us, which is based on a video game, and I don't know anything about the video game at all.
And neither do I.
So, for fans that might be listening to this, hoping that we're going to talk about some nuggets gold from the video game, that's not going to happen. But there was a 2014 movie. I don't know about that either. That's animated in some way. That's kind of like real animation, like AI animation, something like that. And it's a cool
and that
concept.
I haven't seen.
It's a cool concept. It's kind of like basically the video, what they use for the video game. But one thing that I do like about The Last of Us is that it does do a deep dive explanation into how the zombies came to be. Because,
they're not zombies.
Well, what are they calling them?
I have no idea.
They're not calling them.
Well, let's Google
something.
It and see if we can find out. Because they're not zombies because they're not dead. That's the big thing to remember. Yeah. They're not dead, so they're not zombies.
A little bit more like 28 Days Later. Then you've seen that film, I'm sure. Where they've got this rage virus and there's just people that are angry basically running around biting.
Weren't they kind of... Oh, yeah.
Well, but... I was
thinking they were kind of part werewolf or some shit. Weren't they part werewolf or part vampire?
28 Days Later?
Yeah, isn't that the one that takes place up at the pole?
Oh, no. The funny thing is about this particular movie,
30 Days of Night.
30 Days a Night is what you're talking about. Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah, that's a vampire movie.
Yep.
Nope. Well, my memory is serving me well tonight.
It is.
But so, I mean, I really do enjoy what The Last of Us did, especially in that opening scene of the first episode where they're in 1968 and we have these two scientists talking on a talk show. And you immediately recognize the actors. One is the Swede from Hell on Wheels, and the actor's name is Christopher Heyerdahl. And then it's
He was also in Stargate.
Yeah, he's in a lot of stuff. And whenever anyone needs a creepy tall guy, he shows up. And then we have the slave owner from Spartacus, Dominus, who's played by John Hannah. And they're just perfect in those roles. They've got him dressed up like 60s
It's that late 60s where they're just kind of, sunk into the furniture, kick back, just like they are, smoking a cigarette.
Yeah, right.
Yo, man, hey, when we're done, you want to go score some blow? I mean, that's kind of the way he ended it too. The guest, okay, I guess we're done.
Yeah, well, I mean, there's a moment in there where everybody's just deeply distured by what they're saying.
It's because when he said no, there is no cure.
But yeah, no cure.
It won't exist. It not only does it not exist, it won't because it can't.
Because the tall scientist talks about how he thinks basically a pandemic's going to rise from a virus, and the host of the show is saying, well, what's going to happen with airplane travel? And it's just all very creepy COVID. You're kind of feeling it.
Yeah, it's a what if scenario is
right.
what it was. Because he was asking him whether, what virus, remember? He was like, what virus scares you the most? And then the tall guy goes through this diatribe. And then the other guy, he's like, none.
Nope. It's fungus.
Be the fun guy.
Fungus.
It's fucking mushrooms.
Fungus is going to evolve as the world gets warmer.
It's the fungus among us.
The fungus among us. And it hasn't been affecting us because apparently it can't affect humans because it's not hot enough. But then climate changes brings about
And did you see, like a couple of weeks ago?
The fungal apocalypse. There
was a fucking article about that very thing. Not 2 weeks ago, and I wish I could remember which paper it was because I read it in my aggregator. But it was about they're finding some of the funguses that they're finding further and further north, and it went into the whole thing about how fungi need to be in a cooler environment and everything, but things are changing and they're starting to adapt because just exactly what they say in the show.
Yeah.
But what if the planet warms up? If the planet warms up, then they have to adapt to be able to live in something hotter. And that's exactly what this article was talking about.
Well, then we find out that this particular variety of fungus, the cordyceps fungus, is a real deal. It's a real situation. It's
dun dun dun.
It's in Indonesia, which also the show has a episode that highlights Jakarta, Indonesia as ground zero.
As the birthplace of our fucking demise.
Ground zero of the I guess it's like kind of a freaky fungus. Well, this fungus attaches to ants in Indonesia and controls them like a marionette, and basically has the ants spread their fungus to survive. It's a survival mechanism of the fungus to use the ants. So it's like it's a symbiotic relationship, except there's no symbiosis. The ant doesn't want to be controlled by the...
The ant is ultimately fucking destroyed.
The ant isn't...
I wouldn't really call that symbiotic.
But when you think about it, I was thinking about this, ants...
I mean, it's very much virus-like.
Ants, and it's not just ants that it attacks moths and a few other things, but what's interesting, ants are hive mind, so it makes sense. Like, it makes sense for ants to be controlled because they're hive mind. It would be like Borg, So, well...
Oh, Borg.
So, I don't know, and then we flash forward to 2003, basically, it starts. And we meet Joel and his daughter.
Right, I mean, that was just a little snippet.
Yep, so. We meet Joel and his daughter. And
I'm going to have to edit this episode.
Pedro Pascal, who's fantastic. And I don't know her name, but the girl from Game of Thrones who plays the lady at Bear Island. and that's pretty neat.
Yeah.
Ellie, the actress that's playing Ellie, was the lady at Bear Island.
Oh, that's right. That's right. I forgot about that. Thank you.
So that's kind of neat. Both her
they were
and
both.
Pedro Pascal were on the same show, and now they're on this show.
I wonder if there's somebody like a showrunner or somebody that's connected between the two.
Yeah, so must be.
If only there were a way to find out.
I mean, there's so we meet also this old lady that it seems like she's
getting a biscuit.
Yeah, that's really important though, because she's eating this biscuit, and
she's eating the biscuit.
Later they have this moment where the girl's back is turned, and you can see that old lady freaking out. Something's coming out of her mouth. It's all disturbing, and nobody else sees it. And
she had a critter crawl up her biscuit.
She did. I would say the critter
done had a critter.
Well, and then we find out lady from the scientist woman from Indonesia says that basically that this fungal pandemic is being spread by spores, which are in the flour, and then it's being cooked into the food and then sent out, and people are eating it, and that's how everybody's getting it. Just
even your light bright, not your light bright. What was the
light bright?
No, what was the little oven?
Oh, even kids are probably getting it from the Easy Bake Oven. Yeah.
So it wasn't necessarily like a loaf of bread, but it was the little mix for your Easy Bake Oven.
Yeah, it's just disturbing. And then we don't really find out, I think, until episode 3 or 4, when Joel starts talking about how it was in people's food and they were eating it, and basically on a Friday.
Right. It was literally like had been reading your notes and was going. He was going down and answering all the questions that you were going. What else?
I know. I was really annoyed. I was really annoyed in the beginning that I didn't have all the answers. But that's
now you do.
Yeah.
But now you have all the answers.
I do have all the answers.
Because he rattled off like every fucking thing you could possibly ask.
I just needed to wait. I'm not good at that, apparently.
Just wait out in the forest. Yeah. You, a sleep bag, and a lantern.
Well, I kind of felt like...
And that truck over there with doors that lock. It's like that episode where they're hiding behind the chainsaws in that stupid commercial.
Yeah.
Should we go to that truck over there? No, let's hide behind the chainsaws.
Well, I am often the voice of reason. Nobody listens to me, so, yeah.
You got half of that right.
Yes, you're mean. You gotta get that drum thing back up and running. So, old lady goes all Resident Evil in this episode. I gotta tell you, I feel like old lady goes all Resident Evil. I felt Resident Evil-esque in the first episode, not so much the second or third, but to me, it felt a lot.
Oh,
I feel it
was giving you that vibe.
One felt like Resident Evil, especially when that.
Well, and when they were driving, this is like I keep saying, parts of it just almost I'll hear something, or it's the way the music works, or the way the verbs and the adjectives and the nouns, but not the prepositions, but the articles.
Oh, you mean they got fucking Brian?
Yeah,
they got fucking Brian.
I mean, it's literally like you are sitting there listening to a video game go off, you know. And in the very first episode, when they're driving the truck. There was the viewpoint that was really between the two brothers. That was between Joel and Tommy, and Tommy, excuse me. And so, like, when they went off road to go around and try to go the other direction, and they ran into the army. But just that view that you would see, because then his daughter, I can't remember her name, would say something in the back.
Remember her daughter's name.
But the camera would just turn like it was like a character in a video game. If you were turning your head left and right. Or up and down, it had that feel to it.
Yeah.
It's kind of cool. It's different.
I think they have a good, healthy mix of injecting in bits of the video game. And I feel that's why it seems a little bit anthology-like, because you go from like one community to another, and that seems like very video game level type style.
And that might be because they're traveling.
Yeah, okay, I'll give you that.
I just wanted to put that out there as a possibility.
Fine. Jeez. All right. Yeah, so, let's just, we're going to, I will say this too, like, I bitched about this at the beginning, is like, there's Easter eggs. There's Easter eggs that they're planting in that come from the video game that...
Okay, we got to pause.
Okay, pause.
She just grabbed a whole box of quinoa.
Pause.
Dash, what are you doing?
Same, pay attention to me. Well, so one thing I will say is that because of these Easter eggs that are being like embedded into the show because of the game players, not everybody understands what's
And that
going
you and
on.
I don't know.
We don't know
them.
And so we listened to a couple of reviews after we watched The Last of Us, and one of the reviewers was saying that when the daughter is in her school classroom, there's one of the boy kids in the class has a hand tremor, and they zoom in on it, and you're like, well, what's that all about? Well, apparently it's one of the signs that you are sick. An early sign that you're sick is that you have a hand tremor. And so later in the show, we do see them talking to Ellie. They're like, show us your hands.
Right.
And you see
that was one of the tests she had to do.
You see some posters up from FERDA that's like, these are the signs of the infection. And FERDA, do we know what FERDA stands for?
Yes, we do.
Ooh.
The Federal Disaster Response Agency.
Okay. Yeah. So it's what's the National Guard going to turn into probably in the future.
but no, if you took notes in the last episode now, as they were driving through, you can see even all the military stuff is.
Yeah. Well, so one of the things obviously too that's disturbing in the beginning is that the military is killing people just haphazardly. They're killing everybody, whether they're sick or not. And we find out kind of in, I think, episode...
Killing or killed. I think it was more killed.
Right, but they come across Joel and his daughter, and they just start gunning them down. The one soldier...
Oh, yeah, at that point, yes. Sorry.
The one soldier guns them down. And that obviously causes...
And again, it's like...
trauma.
You know what? It's
Joel.
just... Oh, God. It's like the same shit that happened during Avatar. I mean, in no fucking way
would the military do that.
Would the military say, "Oh, you've got a guy and a little girl there, and they're standing there, and they don't appear to be bothering anybody? Yeah, go ahead and shoot them anyway." Mm-hmm. And it's and even if it was the whole, it didn't happen to the guy. Did it? I was just following orders. I mean, they don't do that. I mean,
later in like episode 4, they point out that there were mass killings because the less people alive would be the less chances for them to be infected, which is a strange. Statement.
And then they also said room in the quarantine zone.
They didn't have room in the quarantine zone, so instead of just building another quarantine zone and making it work, they're just going to kill people.
Well, it's cheaper.
Well. Dystopian, and obviously we're in a dystopian world, but
and if you watch Yellowstone at all, they are just taking them to the train station.
Well, I don't watch Yellowstone. I know that that's a problem in society now because everybody watches it, and I don't know what's going on. I do know. Then
I probably need to say what. Good afternoon to you.
Good afternoon. Yes. Well, so that Beth Dutton, I have watched a couple. I have watched a couple episodes of Yellowstone, and that Beth Dutton is straight up a whore. She is a trashy whore,
and she is absolutely, spot on evil.
And her face is just,
and she gets shit done. Of course, it's going to be really interesting.
Her face is just something's wrong with that lady's face. I don't know what.
She's really funny. She's British. Half the fucking cast is British, and then it's about an American ring.
Yeah. Well, same with The Walking Dead. Same with The Walking Dead. Well, so okay. I also was annoyed with the 20-year shoot to the future.
Which is actually the present.
Well,
it was time. It was a time skip to now is what happened.
And you had a point. It'd be super boring to watch all 20 years go by. But I thought a 20-year time hop was a little bit too far. I think a 10-year time hop would have been fine.
If it was 20 years, then I would probably feel like Bill.
Right. Well, we'll get to him in a
We'll
little
get to him.
But so 20 years later, this feral
God, I wanna die.
this feral child walks right into the QZ, and it's just
Well,
like,
she
why does
walked
every
up to
show have to have a feral child? Every show. They're just like, okay, like, poor little sweetheart, you've been bit. And then they're like, you're just, pretty soon in a few minutes, you're going to be eating anything that you want. It's going to be amazing. And then they just execute the kid.
Look
just
at the
like
flowers.
look at the flowers.
Look at
Just
the flowers.
euthanize. They just shoot him in the neck. And then
Well,
we
but
find out later.
that's a nice way to go, though.
Well, sure it is.
They're not even wasting 22 cents on a bullet to the head. They're actually taking the time
And
to euthanize them.
And that's a flashback because earlier in the episode, we see Joel and Tess throwing a kid on burning flames, and we recognize the shoes.
But he's dead already. But he
Right.
was
He's- so-
is what I'm
yeah.
saying. He was euthanized
Yeah.
rather than shot in the head.
Right. I mean, they clearly.
Oh, you are infected. We got to kill you.
They clearly got a procedure. I'm
So-
surprised
but
they
they're
even.
doing it humanely. Is the
Yeah. I mean, it's nice. They brought him in and they gave him a chance and stuff. And they're also executing people in that. They're executing people in that episode too.
Yeah.
They hang what do they hang people for going outside? They go.
There was one for, I think, going outside. Wasn't there another one that was for not going out when they were told to or something?
Yeah,
I can't
mean,
remember. It was
it's
I got confused about being in or out of the QZ.
A part of me wonders, like, for the sake of the survival of humanity, can we just keep killing people willy-nilly like that? I mean, I don't know. Like, that we can just keep killing people for.
Well, we can kill all the wrong ones. Keep all the great ones.
You know what I mean? Like, right. Are they like saying, okay, well, we can kill you because you don't have a uterus, so off you go, like Handmaid's Tale type stuff. But it's like we've got, humanity has to
Go on.
What? Humanity has to mate and make babies, and I don't know that we can just kill people.
Best line from Battlestar Galactica ever. We're going to have to start making babies.
Yeah, that's right. I remember that.
I mean, it's true,
Yeah, does the Dama say that? He does. Yeah.
And then, what's his name? His right hand, he's like, is that an order? He goes, might have to be.
That's funny. Yeah.
It was a good rating.
Well, anyway, so with the executions, it has a bit of a Hunger Game feel, and you see in the background, you see the firefly signs, and that kind of, I don't know. And they're talking about ration cards, and oh yeah.
Yeah. Okay, you're like 5 minutes into the first episode, and we've been recording for a half an hour.
Oh, geez. Okay. Well, no, we've jumped around to several episodes.
No.
I've been up in 4.
Oh, it's been
Yeah.
Johnny on the spot from the
Right.
beginning.
Well, I don't know. What part would you like to talk about? I know you've talked about the production quality, and you're so
It's
impressed.
amazing. I'm just a nerd in that because that's the same thing when we go to movies, and I said that with Avatar.
Oh,
Sorry, with that.
okay. We get it. You don't like Avatar.
Avatar, absolute suck of a movie, but absolutely gorgeous and about as realistic as you can, imagine. And just to stick that into a 10 episode whatever TV show too. I don't know. It's just every year. It doesn't even hell. You don't even have to wait for a year anymore. It seems like every iteration of a show, or a movie, it gets more and more just holy cow.
I agree it looks good, but I wasn't super impressed by it until they got into that museum. And, the Ellie is playing around and she's playing on the there's a frog hopping on the piano, and there's all this water, and
In the
that was
hotel lobby.
Well, it was the hotel lobby, not the museum. Yeah, you're right. It was the hotel lobby.
They hit the museum later.
Yeah,
That's
the
whose
museum,
last great stand is in the museum with the grenade.
Oh, right.
That's the museum.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that was kind of sad. That was kind of a bit of a. It's always disconcerting when they kill off a major character in like the second episode.
I hate it.
You hate that, yeah.
Fucking Game of Thrones did it too.
Yeah, they do it.
I remember I knew nothing about it. I watched the first episode, And I watched the second episode. I'm like, what the? Because I think it was actually the second episode that it happened, if I remember. And I'm like, are you fucking kidding me?
Well, they kill her off. They can't have like a family traveling together. They kill her off because Joel needs to bond with this new girl to replace his dead daughter.
Yes, not having played it, that's how it is.
I mean, it is. That's how the video game
in the video
goes.
game.
I mean, it's basically a
little triad of characters. What I'm saying, I know for a fact are very video game Tess and Joel and Ellie.
Yeah, they do. I mean, she has a really amazing end scene though. That's a good explosion in that episode.
Right. Well, I'm glad they brought her back. I mean, through a flashback.
Yeah, and she'll probably be back. I bet she's back in many.
I bet she's gonna be.
Yeah.
Which is fine with me because I like her because I miss Fringe.
Oh, I hated that show. I didn't even watch that. I mean, I watched like 2 episodes of the show, and I was so annoyed by her, I had to stop. And
what they do is they call it a sociological barrier to where you have to be able to elevate yourself to a certain understanding to actually be able to appreciate what's in front of you at the time.
Is that an insult? I'm trying to figure out how you just insulted me.
It means nanny nanny boo boo. You watch X-Files. Fringe was better.
No, it wasn't. Oh, I'm just going to jump right into my X-Files stuff then. If you want to segue into X-Files.
That's what it was for.
I want to say that there is an excellent X-Files episode all about fungus. And for the people that keep track of shit like this, it's X-Files Season 6, Episode 21, titled Field Trip. And both Mulder and Scully, they get taken over. They succumb to a hallucinogenic mushroom that's found in a field.
I've had that happen.
Have you?
I have.
My goodness.
I know.
All right.
I don't think it was alien.
Well,
but it might have
what
been.
were you? Was it LSD? Was it ayahuasca? What was it? What was the was it?
We smoked
shrooms?
it. I mean, it's mushrooms. We actually smoked it.
Psilocybin, then psilocybin. Is that how you
I
pronounce
think
it?
it's psilocybin.
Yeah. For someone who has never done drugs, I sure know what they are.
Well, you got to keep up on your literature, otherwise you're.
Yeah, I did that work for a while. So I mean, great X-Files episode ties into them. Also, in regard to mycelium network, which is below ground fungi, there's a theory that they talk to plants and trees all talk together through the fungi, and that there's actually miles and miles of network under the ground. And that mycelium network is the basis for the spore drive on Star Trek Discovery.
I was going to try to.
Well,
I was like, she's going to say something, and I'm going to interrupt her.
I was working up to it. The spore drive, and also the show Motherland Fort Salem, which is about witches.
No kidding. Fort Salem.
Motherland Fort Salem is like a multiverse type show where the United States is very different. It's run by witches, and witches are the military. It's a good show. You would hate that show,
just
but
sitting
it's
here
a good
thinking,
show.
I'm trying to think of myself. I'm like, so is it a documentary?
Yeah, it's Marjorie Taylor Greene is running it. There we go. Oh, no.
Because it kind of just sounded like that. I'm like, I don't know, which is kind of must sound like an upgrade right now.
So it's a good show, but I don't want to go into it on this episode. But you certainly would not like Motherland Fort Salem, but it's sort of female run.
You're being a racist.
No, I'm not. I'm just saying I know
so
what
why
kind
wouldn't
of. Well, fine. Watch an episode and then you tell me all about it. Okay. Well, we'll get back to The Last of Us, but I mean, there's a lot of cool stuff out there.
Could we please?
Yeah, we'll get back to it. But you did it to me. You segued into X-Files. You had to segue into the X-Files, and it was just perfect segue because I was ready for it. So,
I have nothing to say.
Yeah, I mean, okay. Well, let's go back to Tess blown up. That was pretty epic.
Back to The Last of Us.
It was sad. And we find out that Joel was in love with her, even though he wasn't really able to express his love. I think she was just a side piece. She was a side piece.
I don't think so at all. Not the way she cuddled up with him after he got done with work the previous day in his apartment.
Yeah, that's what a side piece does.
No, side piece doesn't have the key to your apartment.
Okay, well,
is my
but
point.
they were also like
I'm not saying they
partners. They were partners working together.
I'm not trying to say in your words that they're 100% committed. Well, maybe not 100%, but kind of a little bit.
But she says to him right before she gets blown up, she says, "You've never been able to express your feelings for me like I have for you. So just like get the fuck out of here." She's like, "Just get out of here." And he turns around and he runs with Ellie, and then she blows
they were
up.
still a couple.
Yeah, I know, but I'm just saying that I think, in some relationships, there's one person that loves a little bit harder, a little bit more, and the other person is just kind of like there.
We call them the crazy ones.
Well, okay, whatever. Yeah, so
okay. So boom goes the dynamite.
Boom boom. Boom goes boom boom.
And boom goes the dynamite.
Boom boom. And then we transition into episode 3, which is like gay love story.
That's racist.
No, it's not.
Just a love story.
It's gay love story, and I said that in
You're
the
being
nicest.
racist.
But no, it wouldn't be racist. It would be bigoted. I would have been bigoted, but I wasn't. I'm like,
gay people are a race now.
Where are you getting that from? Where are you getting that
We're
from?
taking over the
Are you
West
getting
Bank.
that from our legislators? Are you getting that from our?
We're taking the West Bank.
God,
Property values are going to go through the roof.
Do not go down. We will be canceled. Do not.
We're going to make the West Bank look like Key West.
I mean, I say that I was surprised, actually. I was surprised.
I was surprised because it was a video game.
Yeah,
that's the thing that surprised me. Not only because it was not because in this adaptation of something else, I didn't kind of go, what you talking about, Willis?
Well, and then
it was that because it's the storyline itself is actually put into a video game. Because a lot of time there's a lot of hostility still in the whole video game world.
Yeah,
for gays.
Right.
Like, I mean, there's I don't know if I should. A video game that they just released a remake of. It came out in like 2006, I think, and I love it. It's a horror genre. It's called Dead Space, and they just re-released it because they redid all the graphics up to 4K HDR. I mean, it's just so stuff that would just kind of have been dark before. Maybe there actually was something in there and you just couldn't see it. Now it's like cinema level stuff. Anyway, they did make some changes. They made some updates in it, and one of them was changing to the character's genre. Or no, excuse me, their relationship. Now this woman that was talking to another woman instead of a man. So now, oh my God, it's woke. That's the other thing. Everything that was coming out now was that this video game is woke because it's got a gay. I'm like, oh, for fuck's sake.
I mean, the fact of the matter is the generation.
So that's why I was so surprised
that
they.
Well, great. I'm glad they did that. It was a beautiful story. He's not only gay; he's a gay virgin. We noted that. They pretty much explicitly say that.
Just the fact that it's because I believe. See, in the video game, it's actually different. They don't both die. One dies and one stays alive.
Oh,
I think for a little while.
And spoilers: one of them dies.
Actually,
both of them.
We already talked about
Double
spoilers.
suicide.
Here, I'll rewind to the beginning.
Yeah.
Spoilers.
Yeah, spoilers.
Spoilers.
But it's cool that they tie. So it's really super cool that they tie into these two men being the radio codes that talk to Joel, the radio that talks to Joel and Tess through songs. And we find out 80s songs means trouble. And that's when they segue into that cool Depeche Mode song, which now I can't remember the title too, but
you were
it's
so
really
fancy schmancy when you were telling me about
such a good. I texted it to you.
Because
the
when
name of the song too.
When Joel and Tess and Ellie took off, that's the song that was playing. If memory serves right,
that was cool. 80s songs.
Never Let Me Down Again.
Never Let Me Down Again. Yeah, it was good, and really and funny how that kind of meant something to their relationship too. That's interesting. Well, they have this just wonderful, healthy relationship, and
who are you talking about?
The gay couple in episode 3, Bill and Fred.
I suddenly flipped to Joel and Tess.
Yeah, well, I guess they had a different good kind of relationship too. Everybody's got a good relationship. But doesn't end well for them. And, it just seems like, though, this is this kind of... I can understand, okay, you live in a small neighborhood. Now you've taken possession of all these homes and...
Of the entire neighborhood.
But, you have stores. But do you have unlimited wine for over 20 years? Do you have unlimited wine?
Well, it might there are people that have, big wine cellars. Plus, it wasn't one of the things he was remodeling. It was wasn't it a bar?
Oh, there's a liquor store, I think. Yeah,
because he was rattling off the things that he wanted to remodel or
it was a boutique.
Get back up to operational.
Right,
I thought one of them had something with booze.
Yeah. Well, okay, but I don't know. Sometimes the food thing bothers me. I know what it's like.
So it's the little things that piss you off.
I know what it's like. 20 years later, canned food is not still good. I don't care if it's not dented or if whatever it's popping up.
Don't you think it might depend, though, too, on what it is?
Ravioli, it's got meat in it. It's not going to be good.
No, it doesn't.
Yeah, it does.
There's no meat in there.
It's got... Ravioli has meat in there. Well, they didn't specify with our meat. Well, it's going to have cheese in there.
My point is there's no meat in there is my point.
I just don't believe... Okay, what was nice...
Because it's so shitty.
What was nice about they showed them growing food. They showed them killing food. That's great. But 20-year canned food isn't... No.
How about pudding?
Pudding. Yeah, well, okay. You're clearly... Carl and his chocolate pudding. Yeah. And we all know about that. But, yeah, so,
I get your point. I get your point.
I was the beautiful episode showed this couple's journey together and then their double suicide and it was a heart wrencher. I cried. I cried.
Only 10 years, not 20 years.
I cried during that particular scene. It was heartwarming and I actually appreciate this show possibly showing people that are not woke how a normal relationship looks like, whether it's gay or straight.
Right, yeah.
I think that was the best lesson in this. I'm hoping some really tough heterosexual survivalist out there is actually watching and saying, I should stop hating the gays because this is a beautiful relationship. I wish that was, I'm living in some sort of utopia right now instead of dystopia, which is what America has become. So.
Wow.
Yeah.
How do I follow that? No, the only thing I can think of is, what was the movie with Jodie Foster? Contact. You've seen it?
Yeah, I've seen Contact.
And the real life part, and then after she hooks up, meets the alien that looks like her father. Because remember she was a radio thing, and the thing that he always said to her was baby steps.
Oh yeah, incrementalism.
Yeah, baby steps. So
but we're going backwards.
We are going backwards right now.
We went forward.
How did we get the fucking U.S. Congress? That's the Senate and the House for you people that have no fucking clue how it actually is put together. Because I hear people all the time have no idea what they're talking about. So Congress, which is Senate and the House, just legalized by law same-sex marriage.
Yeah.
A few months ago.
Well,
but at the same time, everything else that they're doing is just batshit Trump crazy.
Yeah,
it's like suddenly they were like, okay, and it was the gays. That's it. Don't get into that. Don't transition into that other area because they're going to come at you with freaking pitchforks. But anyway, again, I digress.
No, I know. Yep. And well, to
cool.
lighten the mood, I'm going to repeat one of Ellie's jokes. Did you know diarrhea is hereditary? It runs in your genes.
It's just such a dad. She's got like the book of dad jokes.
Yeah. And then he laughs. He finally laughs at one of them. She's been telling jokes all episodes. And she's like, you laughed, motherfucker.
That's 4 episodes in.
They cracked it. They cracked the hostile relationship 4 episodes in. But I get it. Joel is really holding on to the past. He's
his daughter.
He's not over the death of his daughter.
Fuck no.
He's probably, he's he didn't want to be stuck with this gal. It was kind of, Tess's idea. Now she's gone.
Cargo.
Yeah. He refers to her as cargo. I'm not family, she says. Nope, you're cargo. Well.
He says, but Tess was family, so that's close enough.
I know we haven't even really addressed why he's carting her to Wyoming. They're going to Wyoming, and it's because she's
watch the fucking show.
Well, I'm just saying to the audience that's listening to us, it's the reason why she's precious is because she got bit and didn't get sick, and she may be a cure. Now she may be like carrying the antibodies for
if she's immune.
Right. So for this issue. So
this global fungi pandemic, is that what you're talking about?
Yeah,
that issue.
Yeah. So, then we get to this city. We don't know where they're at. We don't know where they're at.
They leave Boston.
4. Yeah, they travel. They're heading to Wyoming, but we don't know exactly where they are when they run into. When they run in, they're in a street and they get trapped. They're trapped by these city dwellers, and they pop their tires and they chase.
You're talking about the ones that set them up for a trap.
Yeah, they set them up for the trap, and we don't really know who these people are, but it's run by some woman named Kathleen, who was very anxious. By the way,
I think all that's at Wyoming.
Oh yeah,
because that was kind of on the tail end there.
Yeah, they're extremely. She's kind of
got the little fidgety meth thing going on, like probably most people in Wyoming.
There is an odd situation at the beginning of the experience with Kathleen and her city dwellers. Well, we really don't know what's going on because she's talking to this. It's our soundtrack. It's the dogs. It's the song of our people. It's the soundtrack.
I'm going to stop. I'm not even going to cut it out anymore.
No, why not? Right. I mean, it's dashed. It's the background. It's the background.
Dude.
They're pit bulls.
The background singers.
They're the backup pitties.
We'll come with a name for them.
Anyway, it'd be too hard.
Ittie Bittie Pittie Committee.
Ittie Bittie Pittie Committee. So, this is one. This I think bugged both of us because you're like, who the fuck is Henry? They keep talking about Henry. This is Henry's work. Who sold out Henry? And it's like, first it seems like Kathleen likes Henry, then she doesn't, then she's looking for him. And they're like, Sam's the son, and
it was the little Superman.
Did you notice when they go into this sort of the basement of this building, and you can see that these tiles are rising up?
Yeah,
and
they're heaving.
He's
doing
like,
their thing.
What the hell? And she's like, you just need to seal off the building for now, and we'll get to it later.
I mean, I saw that. I didn't even wash my hands after I peed because I wanted to get in there right away.
It was just like, what's going on? Gross. Anyway, what's going on here? And they didn't explain that. And then we saw all these drawings of superheroes, and it was like kid-like drawings. And
didn't the one it was like Superman killed Superman or something because he looked dead.
It was strange. It was just the whole scene, and
what I would draw.
She'd been talking to this doctor, and then she shot the doctor. We don't know why, and it's like it'll probably all see. But this is what I'm learning about this show. It's like this is what they set up, this very obtuse, ambiguous scene, and then they explain it later in a flashback. So you just gotta wait for the flashback. We'll get an explanation soon.
I can't argue with you on that one.
That's how they're doing it. That's how they're writing the show, and in a lot of ways, it's kind of brilliant.
But the problem is it gets overdone
a little bit. Yeah, it is overdone, but that's why I feel like it's a bit of an anthology. Like they tell stories, and it's a little anthology-esque.
Do anthologies have the same actors,
they're different stories. But it's like we're moving along as if, okay, we're going to get this story here, there's going to be ties. And I feel like we do meet Henry and Sam at the end of that episode.
I kind of feel like we do too. I want to check and see if...
We meet them because it's the same looking characters as in the drawings. And it's funny because Joel makes a big deal of breaking this window and shattering the glass because he thinks that these people will walk on the broken glass and alert them to coming in, and they somehow come from a different direction and don't land on the glass at all. I bet they were in there the whole time. I bet they were holed up on the 33rd floor. Yeah, I think everything's fine. I think they're gonna obviously help.
What was that looking up?
I don't know what you're looking up. I don't know what you're looking up. We need a product. We need a Roz. Where's our Roz from Frasier? Where's our Roz?
I'd love to have a Roz. That'd be awesome. That'd be awesome.
Mm-hmm. I don't know what you're looking up. You're looking up something about Henry and Sam, and
that's what I was. I wanted to find out, see who the actors were in the episode, and see if one of them if they're identified as Henry and Sam.
Yeah. I mean, we can't. Sunday is an awful long time to wait. We got a whole week now.
Well, no, I'm looking at episode 4. Please hold my hand. So it was at the very end of episode 4. Mm-hmm. So I was just looking to see if there were any actors. Keavin Woodard, Sam.
Oh, and I forgot.
Lamar Johnson, Henry.
Oh, okay. Yeah, there you go. Figured it out. Corey
Grimm was the scavenger, uncredited. How do you like to get into a TV show or something and be uncredited? Terrible.
That guy's uncredited?
Yeah.
Well, was he the guy with the really the bearded guy that was running around with Kathleen?
He is. Come on, close. Come on, back up.
Well, I don't know. Yeah, it's kind of hard to brag that you were on The Last of Us or any show if you're uncredited. That'd be sad.
Right.
Although I think that has to be one of the greatest jobs in the world is to just sign up to be an extra on all these shows. You just show up. You sit around all day.
He was a scavenger. Yeah, but except the fact that these are people that are trying to break into acting. Well,
no. They're if you live in big cities and people need extras all the time, that could be steady work. You get paid an hourly wage. You get to lay around, pretend you're dead, eat snacks. It's got to be the best job in the
insurance.
world. I'm just retirement job or something.
I'm just saying. I mean, no, to be an extra would be fun, but a lot of the other ones too, are actually trying to. Not just go, let's just be in a movie.
I mean, people that do DoorDash and Grubhub don't get.
I mean, they're trying to
actually.
No, I'm just saying they're trying to actually. Well, they have to pay in.
Yeah. So, okay. Well,
but anyway, I'm just saying that they are trying to actually, be the next whoever the hell.
Yeah. Well, I mean, you got to start somewhere. Some of these people start and then they get recognized, and especially if you can ride a horse, man. You can ride a horse. You can write your ticket.
I can ride a horse, and I could talk about Drano. Probably at the same time, so I think I would be good.
Jeez.
It'd be a Drano horse commercial.
Now, you know what I would not be? I would not want to be the dude playing Brian. He was super annoying. Especially when he kept shouting for his mom. Was any of that even real? He's like, whoa, mom. You think mom was Kathleen?
Don't know.
I don't know.
If she was, probably not. I
bet she's everybody's mom, Kathleen.
Oh, it will be something like the governor.
Something like that.
Yeah,
something like I'm mommy to everybody. This is my village.
Alpha. Calls her Alpha. I mean, some weird shit
Alpha.
Like that.
I'm going to give that woman props. She was an excellent actress and a super villain, like one of the best.
She did a really good job of pulling that character out of the comics.
She wasn't my favorite villain on The Walking Dead. I really liked the governor. I know some people didn't, but I really liked him. And
what show are we talking about again?
Walking Dead. No, we're talking about The Last of Us. Yeah. Well, it kind of blurs together. We're talking about zombies.
So far, I think The Last of Us is better.
I would say
I know we're 4 episodes in, right? I have nothing to base it off of. I don't have a, you know what I mean? I have no proof. But if I could say 4 episodes in. To each one of them, I would like The Last of Us better.
Well, I mean, it depends on what season of The Walking Dead you're thinking of. If
you're thinking about season 1, episodes 1 through 4.
Okay.
Of course, there only were 6 episodes in the first season.
I don't know. That's a hard call. But this is a good show. It's a good show. And
it doesn't need to be compared to The Walking Dead.
No,
And
it
shouldn't
doesn't
be.
need. It doesn't need to. But you know what? I mean, that's kind of what we do. So, yeah. But yeah, I mean, well, that's another thing too. We use the word zombies, but they haven't. And
I
like,
don't.
They haven't dropped a word to refer to them.
See,
have
and
they?
I was looking. I tried to find that, and I could not. And plus, remember what I said? What was I looking up?
Yeah. Was that what you're looking up?
I think that might have been it.
Oh, okay.
No, we discussed that earlier in the show. I wasn't able to find out what they call them.
No, I mean, like, and let's just talk about the way they look. They look kind of goofy. I mean, I think they're scary at the early stage of infection when the tendrils are coming out of their mouth. But when they've got, mushroom forehead, I think they look kind of goofy.
I think they look cool.
I think they look cool.
Well, they look like seashells. They look like Silly Sally. silly Sally. Solid seashells.
So it's
down by the
SpongeBob
seashore.
SquarePants now. They look like
Yeah.
they just look cartoonish when they're morphed into their.
I don't know. I think they're like pretty fucking crazy.
Well, we know that they sound scary. They make that clicking noise, and we don't like that. That's scary.
Can't do.
But you can still kill them by stabbing them in the head.
You can.
You can.
So let's get back to this question. Answer. They are runners, stalkers, clickers, shamblers, bloaters, or the Rat King.
The Rat King? Where do they get that from?
Doesn't that kind of sound like something else about a bunch of boys that got shipwrecked on an island by themselves?
Oh, yeah.
It kind of sounds like the Rat King.
I mean, Lord of the Flies? I'm talking about Lord of the Flies.
I am talking about Lord of the Flies. So that would be the Rat King.
Ooh, okay, that is nasty. We haven't seen that yet, have we?
No, that'll be towards the end of the season. So that'd be the bid one.
Well, that is absolutely terrifying.
And then there's your shambler, rambler guy. Remember when I told you the one that's just kind of basically shit-lacked?
Well, I'll tell you what. In the museum, when they were fighting them in the museum, they had basically the mushroom grown over their face because they're blind. So they're blind because that mushroom grows over their face.
But it's like it's like Mickey Mouse ears.
That's where I thought they looked kind of corny. But
really? Because to me, I could look at that and go, wow, that's like something I'd see growing on a rock.
Yeah, it looked like
that's the only reason
like
it was.
lichen is what it looked like. It looked like a reddish lichen. That we'd find in the Badlands. Yeah.
I guess. Yeah, I mean, it's just.
And that's fine.
The zombie fungus.
That's fine. I mean,
yes, it's real.
Yeah. See, okay, you cannot. Okay, you're looking at a picture right there. That looks ridiculous. But
it kind of looks like that's the end of a tendril on the fungi.
Well, I'm not saying it doesn't look like a real fungi, which is really good. No.
I'm just saying that was their inspiration.
Yeah, I mean, it's a good inspiration. I can see that looking much better animated and in the game than I can in live version.
But they've done a good job of live version translating that.
They have done a good job. I'm not saying...
And I think it's because we're not seeing it every other scene.
Right. Well, I think it looks super creepy when you see them like fused to the wall or...
That was the one
we saw. Mm-hmm.
Oh yeah, hooked to the wall. That was awesome.
When it's like hooked to the wall,
and all dried out.
That is scary. That is scary. Yep, that one. So we're looking at.
You know what that reminds me of?
Well,
about episode 4, season 10, Game of Thrones. Remember there was the guy that all his guts were all. Spilled out on the wall, spiraled out, and then he started on fire.
Yeah, gross. Yeah. There's definitely moments where it's scarier than others. It's just that every once in a while when that cartoonish one shows up, it's like, it's really kind of ruining the mood. But
ruining the mood, if that's what's doing it for you.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Well, whatever. I
No,
think
I mean,
the scariest one, definitely the scariest one was Nana with the first one, the old lady with the tendrils coming out of her mouth. And then the second scariest one was probably that naked Asian woman in Jakarta.
Well, the thing that was freaky about that was because she had it in the forceps.
Yeah.
And then it just it lifted up and reached for her.
Just like it does for the ants. That's because they on the ant documentary that you can watch for the real life cordyceps infection of ants. They show that how those little tendrils lift up. And that was freaky. Yeah. And so anyway, I mean, I think we're winding down here. Would you like to make some final discussion on The Last of Us?
I can't remember the last time that I was actually positive towards one of these
Video
big
game
ticket
shows?
well, no, a big ticket item TV show. The last time I was this felt this positive after like 4 episodes about a show, was probably House of the Dragon. I mean, it's just it's like wow, this does not suck. Mm-hmm. And it doesn't. I'm not lost because I have never played the video game. So it kind of. I mean, the way they were doing it.
Right.
So I was just very positive.
No, it's a great show. I don't think you can go wrong with Pedro Pascal. He's just a winner. Nah. He's an absolute winner. I like following him. I think I've seen him in everything he's done now, with the exception of that.
But his stuff on Netflix you haven't seen.
No, but
which is really kind of where. I mean, that was pre-HBO, everything.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I mean, he's one of the reasons I was excited to watch the show. I think they have some really quality human storylines. So so we're gonna keep watching it. We're gonna keep podcasting about it, and
starting next week.
Yeah,
something else.
Scott is very excited about the season 3 of
Star Trek Picard.
Picard. Yeah,
the prequel of sequels, part 9.
What? The prequel of
the prequel of sequels, part 9. Just it's.
Is that a joke?
Well, it was like the movie was the last episode, and then there was, or the TV show had the last episode. Then they did the movies, and they had the last episode, and then now it's a reboot, but maybe not really a reboot, and wasn't going to be about next gen at all when they started. And then 2 seasons in, next thing we know, the last season's all about the next gen. I don't have a problem with it. It's just.
What you just heard is the dogs being very excited about Picard as well. They're very excited about Picard.
Some Picard bitches right there.
I'm not. I will say this: I'm not all that excited about Picard being over. I enjoyed Picard. I think they could have.
He's 109 years old.
Well, they could have stretched out a little bit more. I mean, they just could have. But
they did. Jesus, they did seasons 2 and 3 back to back when they filmed those. So I can only imagine how wiped Patrick Stewart was at the end of that second year of filming, or however long it takes.
Well, John Aniston worked on Days of Our Lives until literally the day he died. So come on.
No, I'm just saying he was also, the only thing he had to do was sit behind a desk.
That's true.
And
they
go,
kind of go
kill buddy, or whatever the hell it was.
Yeah, he just basically sat around.
He didn't have to go running around like shooting people.
That's true. I mean, it is an action. It is an action.
But I'm fired the fuck up for it. It is going to be so good.
Anyway, we're going to be excited about that. And of course, it's just never ending Star Trek now. It's just Star Trek, Star Trek, Star Trek. So that's good for us because we're Trekkies. And
we are. And the crossover episode should be a good one. I say should be a good one. The crossover from, you're aware, right, that they actually filmed, and it's in the can, a crossover episode between Strange New Worlds and Lower Decks.
Oh, yeah, I heard about this. It should be interesting.
And it's Jonathan Frakes was the director for it.
Oh, boy, it's going to be good.
So at least it should be good, right? It should. And the only thing he said is that it begins and ends animated. Mm-hmm. Everything else in the middle is pinch me, I'm real. And so they actually, I mean, the actual actors are coming over and
Yeah.
somebody, I don't know, how in the fuck are they going to have some timey-wimey shit going on?
Is it going to be animated? Is the episode going to be animated? Or are they bringing...
I'm sorry, let me rewind this 15 seconds. Jonathan Frakes was the director.
Yeah.
And he said, this is what I said after Jonathan Frakes was the director, and he said the beginning and end would be animated.
Oh.
Everything else in the middle is real world.
Okay, well, you know what? I completely just didn't even hear you.
Obviously. I mean, I had literally just got done saying it.
Well, whatever.
And then you asked me that fucking question.
I'm sure there's someone listening out there. I'm sure someone's listening out there going, that stupid bitch. That stupid bitch. She just said that. She's a stupid
said I
bitch.
wouldn't be animated.
I don't get it. I don't get it. He clearly, I can see the people listening to us right now. They're in a car driving, and some woman says, "Well, I didn't hear him say that," and the guy's like, "He clearly said that. He clearly said that," and they're arguing about it right now. It's happening. It's happening.
That's awesome.
And I hope that's what's happening.
I wonder which one's going to get to the tire iron first.
Oof. Okay. Well, it's getting dark.
I think there was a tire iron in The Last of Us.
Well,
definitely.
There's a lot of weapons in The Last of Us, and my final statement on The Last of Us is, note to self, if you fast forward to the future, approach a barbed wire fence that starts shooting flames at you, and you watch your buddy get consumed in flames,
you may want to turn around.
You might want to leave and not approach the fence again, because 5 people die on this fence, and then 5 more come in and get flame thrown.
It was beautiful. You're right. It was beautiful.
But then also, you've got a flame throwing fence. You don't need to be also out in the streets shooting people that are also shooting through the fence.
No sharks with lasers on their heads.
It's geez, that was strange too. He just kind of flipped out and went out in the middle of the street and started shooting. You didn't need to. Oh yeah. That.
Well, I mean,
he didn't need to do that. He has an arsenal of weapons in his house. He could have staked out, he could have been a sharpshooter out on top.
He's standing out in the middle of the street was not the best tactical position.
No, I mean, he didn't even wake up his buddy.
No, I'm just saying it was strange.
It was strange. That was very strange. But otherwise an amazing
Stranger
episode.
Things.
That was Stranger Things, yeah. Well, so here we are. We're at the end of our podcast. I want to thank everybody for joining us up again. I hope we haven't been gone for too long.
I could have stayed longer, but it's time to go.
That's such what? Okay, what didn't you get out? Did you want other things? Do you have other things to say?
I'll do it on my OnlyFans.
What? Gross. Oh. Jeez. Oh, do you got a copy of Bearskin magazine upstairs?
Is that what it was?
That's
she
what
checked
it was.
Out
she found a bear.
God, how did he walk around with that?
A bearskin. And it was bear, BEAR.
Yeah.
It was bear, as in obviously these two were bears, and I guess folks, if you don't know what we're talking about, and you're don't Google it. Okay, just we're talking about
porno.
In the gay community, the bears are bigger bearded guys.
Porno.
Yeah, they're bigger bearded guys. That's what it is.
They're fatties, little chubbies.
Well, nobody was fat in this episode.
Little chubby wubba.
We were that actor that was playing Bill. I was like, holy cow! When he came out in that towel, I was like, I had no idea he looked that good. That actor never looks that good in his roles. He looked fantastic.
Oh, okay. Not his.
The guy from Parks and Rec.
Right,
he didn't look that good on Parks and Rec.
Yeah, and I can't remember the name of the other guy.
He's buff.
He's been in a bunch of
stuff.
He's
like David Harbour Batista type buff. He's gotten out there and clearly is not eating carbs.
He's an HBO guy.
Yeah,
he's been in a number of HBO productions in a good way. Good. He's awesome.
Either that or they had a fat suit on him in Parks and Rec. They might have had a fat suit on him in that role. He
might have just said, "Wow, I gotta take my clothes off and crawl in bed with another naked guy for a TV gig.
And I'm pretty sure that actor,
Maybe I should take 10 off.
he looked really uncomfortable in those scenes, and I have a feeling that was real. I don't think he's gay in real life. I think
he's not. No, he's not. The other guy is.
They really, but his discomfort was obvious.
It was his first time.
Yeah, I know, but I mean, he didn't really have to act through it,
which was great. Which actually worked, right?
Worked.
I mean,
yeah,
I think that's what you're getting at.
That's what I'm getting at, and I'm not being rude either. I just thought it was
just racist.
It was like no, we've been it's like Groundhog Day. We've been through this already.
Gosh, so racist.
Bigoted. We've been through this already. I'm not
racist. I'm not a bigot.
Racist. Well, I mean, that's what we're getting at here, and I'm not a bigot. I'm
not a big what?
I'm not a bigot. Okay. All right. Well, now
that's just what a bigot would say.
Have we said all we need to say now?
Yeah, I think we have.
Okay. So, all right, everyone. Thanks for joining us today. And next time you hear us, we'll be talking about Picard.
Will we, or will it be another episode of this first?
I think it'll be Picard.
Oh, because it'll be next week.
I think it'll be Picard.
Oh, yeah, because it's Sunday now.
I think we'll need to do Picard first because you are so anxious about it. Now, this will be the third time I've tried to sign off. I can't. Now, letting me sign off.
You say you hate our endings.
I do.
All right, we're out of here.
Okay, thanks, everybody. Bye.